Good afternoon. So with great pleasure that I'm here today, and I want to thank Professor Dingran to have invited me to join the advisory board. And it was with great pleasure that I withdrew from another place, where I'd been there for 6 years or 7 years. Today I'm going to share with you the result of almost 3 years of work, because at the end of 2014, I was looking at the different technologies, I was looking at different topics, and we decided that artificial intelligence was the topic to focus on. But remember, back in 2014, nobody was talking about artificial intelligence. And that gave me a great chance to travel the world and meet a lot of very, very famous names today, which were less famous 2 or 3 years ago, and to build a friendship and to study with them on the future of artificial intelligence. So, as an introduction, I'm going to tell you a bit what we do at Roland Berger. 10 years ago, when my 2 daughters were asking me what kind of job I'm doing, I was saying, I'm a doctor for company. They call me, they broke their knee, they broke something else, I fixed them. Now, what I tell them is what is written on this page, which is we are helping our client, we are enabling them to own the future. Because it's much more important to own the future than to be a doctor. Because the world is becoming volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And all of you in this room have a lot of questions about your own future, your own career, and the evolution of your companies. So owning the future is one very important point for me and for Roland Berger. Then you're going to tell me, okay, it's very nice, it's a good speech, but how do you own the future? I'm a consultant, I'm going to tell you how to own your future. So to own the future, the first thing you have to do is you have to see it. And the future, is not in front of you. It's just next to you. So the future is somewhere in this room, somewhere when you discuss with professors, somewhere when you read books, when you look at things. The future is not ahead of you, it's right by your side, and I will give you an example in a few minutes. But seeing the future is good. What is most important in the time of today is to act upon it. Hartmut Rosa, this famous German philosopher, is a Marxist-Leninist, so he always thought his book with Karl Marx was right, and he was in many dimensions. He wrote about the acceleration of time. So we are living in a world which is going faster and faster. So you have to visualize, you have to act. And I think this is something which has changed in the last years. We are living sometimes at the speed of a tweet, at the speed of a WeChat, and we have to act. And this is how you can own the future. I'm sure you're going to tell me it's very nice, but it's a bit theoretical. How do I do, okay? How do I visualize the future? How do I act upon it? So there are many ways to see the future. You can visualize with maps, okay? This is a map from a previous book called Confucius and the Automate, which has been translated into Chinese. It was written in 2013 about technology and the future of the world. And that's the way of looking at the world and the future. But I'm going to tell you a story which is going to make it even more concrete to you. It's called the Hirschhorn theorem. Who in this room knows Kenny Hirschhorn? Raise your hand. If you raise your hand and you say yes, I will call you and ask you, because very few people know him. Kenny Hirschhorn, so in 2000, I had the chance to work on a merger between 2 companies. France Telecom, the French telecom operator, and Orange, which they had bought in the UK. And as a good consultant, I was merging the different departments. And then I come to the strategy department, which in France Telecom, the French company, was 50 people, very organized. And I asked, okay, who is in charge of strategy at Orange? They say, we don't have a strategy department. So I was getting worried. They said, oh, but we have a department. led by Kenny Hirschhorn, is called the Futurology Department. People will see the future. So I say, futurology, strategy, I don't give it. I don't care. I'm going there, and I'm going to merge these things. I entered the office of Kenny, and he looked exactly like this with his glasses and his look. And he showed me this, something like this. And he said, Mr. Bouée, what is this? So remember, we are in 2000. I say it's a phone, a mobile phone. Kenny tells me, okay, you're sure you're a strategy consultant? You have no clue about the future. Huh? He said, I give you a second chance. What is this? I say, it's a Nokia. He said, okay, we are in big trouble. You have no clue. Then he tells me something. He says, the next 5 years are known. People are going to make different style of phone. They're going to have 3G. They're going to invest in the hardware. But then he says, this is, remember, we are in 2000. This is the remote control of your life. Okay, we are in 2000. Do you know what happened to Kenny? He was fired. Who would believe that one day we have a remote control of our life in our pocket? I guess you all have your remote control of your life in your pocket, where you manage your personal life, business, friends, with one phone. But at that time, this gentleman saw the future in what was one of the largest telecom operators in the world, and he was fired because he had no clue. So this is just to give you a very concrete example. I was there, I was the consultant. I didn't prevent them from firing him, even though 8 years after, a small cookie called Steve Jobs, not Kenny Hirschhorn, invented what you have on the screen. Who do you think invented the SMS that you are using? A small company, almost bankrupt, called Nokia. The engineers were working on fixing the PIBX, the machines, and they thought that calling was too complicated. So they invented this texting system. They went to see the CEO and said, maybe we should do some IP and protect it. And the CEO said to them, I quote, do you think that people will ever communicate with 180 characters? Today, this is what we have on Twitter and many things. So they didn't protect it. It went. So this is examples, before I get into my topic on AI, to show you that you can, all in this room, we can all see the future. It's just air. And maybe you saw it 5 years ago and you didn't see it, you didn't do anything. So it's very important to understand this, because otherwise we are trapped, and I come back to this in my speech, we are trapped in paradigms. The paradigm was at that time that the telecom operators are producing, trying to sell data to the consumers to have more revenues. So now, if you look at all the technologies, and we have abundance of technology, by the way, in this room, who knows when the first unicorn came to Earth? I'm talking about the $1 billion company unlisted. I'm not talking about the unicorn because I haven't seen any apart from my kids on the planet. Do you know when they really started? In 2009, after the financial crisis. Because what we have not noticed is, after the financial crisis, we created massive liquidity, low interest rate, and we gave incentive to people to invest more in technology than in people. And this is why today, and this is an example of technology, you see this abundance of technology. And some of the things we are seeing today and these days is linked to this abundance of capital. Among this technology, there is one which I picked. All this one I studied in 13, which was artificial intelligence, and this is the purpose of the speech now. So first, a bit of basics. What is artificial intelligence? Because people are talking about deep learning, machine learning, all kinds of things. Artificial intelligence is the ability for a machine to make decisions. It's not to recognize patterns. It's the ability for a machine to make decisions. So a lot of things we see today is just the beginning of it, and it's not really artificial intelligence. To make it work, and this is why we see the things happening these days, you need to have algorithm. The algorithm we are using today are coming from the 60s and 70s. A bit of new things, but in reality, nothing new. What is new is structured data and computing power. So again, this remote control of your life that you have in your pocket has the processing power that the US Army and the US government and all the agencies had in 1984. Which means, for those of you who studied the history, that the Cold War was two iPhones playing against each other. So we can do a lot of Cold War in this room with the processing power we have, which is something we don't realize because it has been accelerating so much. On top of it, this is very fashionable. You can see, I mean, I started to write the book very timely at the inflection point of the curve. If I were starting the book now, it would be a bit of a nightmare to meet these people because everyone wants to meet them. But there is no single analyst call in the world where people don't talk about AI. It was big data a few years ago. Maybe soon people will talk about token, ICOs, and cryptocurrencies. But this is the world we live in. Processing power, I'm not going to go over it, I told you. Massive processing power. Data, we are producing a lot of data to a point that it's going to be a bit of a garbage, to be really honest with all of you. So you have some numbers here. The number I usually use is, do you know, we're going to produce very soon yottabyte. So there are some engineers in this room, 10 out of the power of 15. Do you know the diameter of the universe? It's 0.8 yotta kilometer, just to give you. So we are producing massive amounts of data compared to the size of the universe. And this is what we have to make sense of. Now, a bit of history, because, you know, I like to do history as a consultant, not because I like history, because I think it's, humans have patterns. Financial crises come back, bubbles. So we have a pattern which I want to share with you, which is that we're entering the fourth technology wave. The first wave, which is two waves at the same time, was emergence of the computers and the software. And the two most powerful firms in the world in 1984 were called IBM and Microsoft, which I don't think today they are the most powerful companies on earth. And for the little story, the European Commission was working on how to stop and prevent Microsoft from having Windows on all the machines. So they worked for 3 years to try to stop Microsoft. And at the end, they gave up. They say, OK, Microsoft is the winner. They will be there forever. There's no chance. But then a little guy from the team said, from what we studied, maybe we can apply it to a new technology, which is coming up, called the mobile phone. And maybe we could define a norm for Europe called GSM, which would allow us to retake control. And this is why you have a shift happening in the 90s, where the champion of this world became Vodafone, Deutsche Telekom, France Telecom, British Telecom, and they were buying everyone in the world, and we thought as well that they would be immortal. So you can see that a first wave, a second wave, then we entered a third wave with a smartphone, and these people wiped out the people from the first waves. Why? For two reasons. The first one is, in every wave, the business model of the wave is different from the business model of the next wave. So I just gave you an example. Microsoft sells you software to download on your computer. The phone comes. They should have given us, because we paid a license, the Microsoft for free on our mobile phone. If they had done this, there's no need for Android. But they just left the space because they wanted to sell you for $79, which is more than the phone sometime, at that time, the service. Then the telecom operator, they had Kenny Hirschhorn who told them, please build the remote control of your life, which they could have done with Nokia. But then their objective was to get as many consumers as possible and to sell them RPU, which is minutes of phone calls and data. Then comes the next player. They offer everything for free. They don't care about the RPU, and then the players of the last wave become utility companies. And today, when I moved to China in 2006, China Telecom, China Mobile, they were superstars, and now we barely talk about them. Okay? They just didn't see the mobile phone of the remote control of your life. So this is why I believe that the next trillion-dollar company will be an AI company, not any of these players. I'll come back to this in a few minutes. I will explain you why. Because all the players that you know today, the GAFAs and the BAT, they live mostly on two things. One is advertising, and I will tell you and I will explain you why advertising will be gone in the AI world. And they live on the fact that we are humans, so we need an interface, and we need to, with our big fingers, to do something with our phone, which with the AI we will not have to do. So these platforms will be having a very hard time. I know it's a bit surprising for people in this room, but I've been talking to a lot of people across the world, and a lot of people would agree with me, because it's very analytical. And secondly, because of the three waves before. Each of these waves was a 10-year wave, which allowed people to take control of the world, where people who were living in this room in 1984, if I'd been making a speech, IBM, Microsoft. If I'd been in 1994, it would have been China Mobile, maybe 2004 or 2006, China Mobile. And now we're talking about Baidu, Alibaba, Tencent as the future winners of everything. This is not true. The world is not linear. Okay, I will mention one Chinese company because I know them very well. They just raised a lot of money. As you know, this is the largest AI unicorn in the world called SenseTime. It's also our client and good friends. They are trying to build the $1 trillion company. This is a long journey because they have to get the revenues up, but they have been doing a lot of incredible things. And this is why I believe that also the next big player will come from China or Europe, not America, even though they're investing a lot of money. Why Europe? Because we have no player. So the same way that the next wave wiped out the telecom operator from Europe, who had the GSM, it's very likely that the next wave will come from a part of the world which has no GAFA and no BAT because there's too much at stake. You have to be willing to give up your revenues. If you look at the result of Facebook, the latest one, you will see that more than 90% of their revenues is coming from advertising. Which means that if there's no more advertising, the same way that Deutsche Telekom or Orange were living from 90% of the flow of data, the market will be different. Okay, we are talking about a $200 billion industry that will touch everything in your life. My belief, our belief, is that everything will be touched by AI. There is no single activity in this room, no single person that will not be touched by AI in the next 10 years. It doesn't mean that everything will change, but it will have a huge impact. Interestingly enough, I want to share with you something about our clients. Today, our clients, normal companies, they are surrounded by 4 enemies. Let me share with you their enemies. First group, the digital leaders, because they think they're going to take away their customers, they have control of the remote control of the life of everyone in this room, so they will just take all the margin from them. A second group of people is the startups. They come, they disrupt, they attack the clients. A third group, which is maybe less obvious, is the IT companies. Because most of the companies are airline, food producer, electricity provider, they have existing legacy system on which they have to, if you take off in a plane, you want to be in safety. You don't want to be in a startup that is just trying to do a Scrum programming. That's why a lot of our clients have a challenge on their IT because all the other players are doing very differently. And of course, last but not least, the platforms, because these platforms are putting peer-to-peer or client into clients. But let me tell you why most of these people will disappear in the next 10 years. I hope I'm not going to get fired like Kenny Hirschhorn, but as the CEO of the company, I don't get fired for looking at the future. So let me explain you why it's going to change. So first, we're going to have a wave of technological changes. First one, AI will be a commodity. I can write it today, you can listen to me, because everything human developed became a commodity available to everyone. Would you live in a world where only some of the people on the planet can take a plane? Would you live in a world where only a few people can take a car? So if you look at technology, it became available to everyone. So how much time it will take? We will have access to AI as a commodity product, all of us in this room. Of course, there will be maybe different level of services. Second one is, this is today the remote control of your life. It will become the control of your life. Because what is the difference between a remote control and a control? Remote control means that someone else, it's another machine that you are driving. Control means that you are controlling. So today, we are releasing data to people we don't know for them to advertise and sell us stuff. We are using platforms and giving data without having control of what we're doing. We are searching on the internet. When we are searching on the internet, are we getting the best product? No. We're getting the product that has paid the most to be first on the list. So if you want to buy the best cheese in the world, you don't go on the internet, you call your friends. Because very likely, the best cheese in the world has already been sold because it's over-subscribed. And if you get it on the internet, it means it's a bit too late. So we believe at Roland Berger in what we call portable AI. So what is a portable AI? It is basically a machine, can be a phone, can take another form, which you will control. Private cloud. He or she or it, depending on how you call him or her, will search for you when you sleep. You don't need to Google. You don't need to Baidu. It will search for you when you sleep. It will know your preferences. It knows you are at CEIBS and you know the dates of vacation, so it can already book vacation and cancel and do things that you don't do. It will protect your privacy. If you don't want information to be released, you can be protecting it. So basically, it will play the role of your trusted advisor. The same way that this machine in your pocket is playing a role of a remote control, it will be your own portable AI. And this is what the next wave going to be. And this portable AI will not be for sure branded by any of the existing players because you will not trust them, even if they bring something incredible. You will trust the first one will bring you something he can guarantee that is secured and is acting only for you. And maybe it will be a subscription model because there will be no advertising. When your portable AI is searching, this is the point number 4, he's looking at zeros and ones. He doesn't care about advertising. Maybe he can tell you, oh, there's a nice entertainment thing you can watch, but he doesn't care about advertising. So all gone. So imagine a world without advertising. Look at the numbers that made the profit of all these companies. Huh? It will be also less data-driven. Because the same way that a child learns from very fast, there will be 2 changes. The first one, we are using machine learning and deep learning, okay? Machine learning and deep learning is a proxy for intelligence. So it just was discovered in the 70s, and we said, okay, it looks like intelligence. But today, a lot of people are working on new technology based on the brain structure, based on biology. And without disclosing, I was with a company last week. They have something that can learn by itself. So basically like a children. If we look at this room, look at different faces, make pattern recognition, it can do for ears, it can do for anything which is data-driven. So imagine a world where face recognition is a commodity. Everything has been already done, so there's no need for more data. It's just time to provide to you the portable AI. So what will it change? And I'm going to give you an example one by one. First, the end of platforms. What is a platform? A platform is something which is connecting a human, which is connected to a machine, to a platform, to a machine, to a human. Imagine a portable AI. Your portable AI is looking as we speak, because you're fed up with listening to me, for a driver. So your portable AI is scanning portable AI, which are registered as driver. The driver is sleeping. He doesn't need to do anything because his portable AI is scanning, logging. Then you can check the quality of the driver, because you can check if he has a driving license. You can check if he has been authorized by the Shanghai municipality, because you can do this because it's portable AI to portable AI. When it's via a platform, when it's you with your machine, you have no time. You're not going to send a WeChat, say, okay, can you send me your driving license? Then what's left? The distance, the map, is all commodity. The payment, commodity. What is the value added in the platform in the middle? Zero. So this is going to change the game, because you are retaking control of your life, and it's giving more opportunity for business among people. As I said, it's also impacting the GAFAM, BAT, whatever, X, because it's changing the economics. Search, you don't have to do. And you can do, Google or Baidu, they have copies of the internet on big server. Because when you're asking, they need to reply very quickly. So most of the time what you're getting first is not the real world, it's a copy of the real world. Because otherwise it's too long to access. What will happen is your machine can search. Your machine knows your preferences. It knows how many people will be traveling, when you want to travel, what you want to do. So that will really change the way the world is doing. It will also create a new world of entertainment, because if you don't have to waste your time to search, to buy, you have tons of time for entertainment. So what you want to watch on your screen is entertainment. By the way, if you think about the Amazon of this world, why is Amazon successful, apart from the fact that they put everything into like a super hypermarket? It's because they simplify your life. Because you don't want to shop, it's like Taobao. You don't want to shop in 5 different places, do you? You don't have the time, you click, click, click. Tomorrow, your machine can do it for you. So she can go to 3 vendors, only thing left is the delivery. So you can imagine a world where Amazon becomes just a delivery company. The same way that the telecom operator became only data providers, or actually data infrastructure, even worse. So you can see that if you explore this venue of portable AI, which technologically is totally feasible, the only challenge is it will not be done by any of the incumbents. It is not the interest of Alibaba, Tencent, or anyone else, or Google, to provide you this portable AI. Because the day they do this, they disrupt themselves the same way that Microsoft refused to give for free Microsoft on all the mobile phone. It will also give a new place for humans. There's a big debate about jobs and the end, and that's really a big debate, because collectively, it is better for all of us in a world of AI. There will be less accidents, things will be more reliable, you have less danger for yourself. But individually, it is not very clear. I had the chance, I was in Davos in January, end of January, with you, and Eric Schmidt organized a very small group of 25 of us. I don't know why they picked me, but they picked me, maybe because I did some interesting research. And we discussed about this. And it's clear that the majority of people on this world, maybe not in CEIBS, but everywhere in the world, are afraid of AI for their jobs, for their investment, for their wealth, for their future, for their children. With portable AI and technology given to people, you move, and this is the speech I will make this Thursday in Berlin, you move into the world of human augmented intelligence. The day we give you a portable AI, you can start doing business, you can start leveraging, you can start retaking control of your life. Today, we don't have control because the players are maximizing their profit. It will also create new business model. I believe this is going to be that the next 10,000 startup will be a business idea with AI. You are lucky. It's exactly the same as when the internet came, the website. Who made money is not the people producing the website. It's the people who had a good idea with the website. So AI combined with ideas is where you can make a lot of money. This is where all the next startups will come. This is where also I invest myself. So the implication for all of us, the first one is, yes, it will impact job. Yes, you have to manage transition, but there will be opportunities, as I write, for new skills. Company will change. They will be lighter. They will be more technology-driven. There will be new form of organization. I'm sure that they are teaching you this at the school. There will be EQ, of course, we all know. LQ from Jack Ma, love quotient. IQ. And the job will be very different. But the job will be around human. We have never been able to stop any technology, bad or good. The nuclear weapons were bad. But we didn't stop, we did it. Humans never stop any technology, good or bad. So we will have AI, and we will have massive AI. But we have to make sure we make the best use of it. And as I said, a lot of opportunities for all of you if you see the future. So in conclusion, whatever your vision of the future is, because I just gave you some glimpse, it's up to you to see the future and act, not me. I'm acting upon the future as I see it. So either you believe, like Elon Musk, that today we are in a big simulation, this is fake. We passed the point of singularity, we're in a big video game. I'm not real, you're not real. You know, he said that there's one chance in a billion that we are not living in a video game. So maybe today is fake. We passed the point of singularity, and I'm just speaking to a bunch of machines or players. That's one way of looking at the world. Or if you believe, like Vint Cerf, the chief evangelist of Google, that privacy was just an anomaly of history, and that the remote control of your life is forever, why do you want to take control of your life? You don't need it. They're in charge for you. Or if you believe, which I like from my readings when I was a kid, Arthur C. Clarke, the goal of the future is full unemployment, so we can all play. This is different ways of showing you the future. I think that my advice to all of you is that you must start owning the future today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Charles-Edouard. So now we move to the dialogue session, and I think it's a very interesting topic, especially you didn't, as a consultant, because you want to sell your service and you always want to boost the confidence of your potential clients. So that's why we only see the bright side of the story. But I really like the end of your conclusion, because you are French, so you still put that in a critical way, thinking about, for example, when the human never stops the progress of technology, regardless the nature of the technology, right? So here we like to make an extension, but I think maybe you deliberately reserve that part for the dialogue. So could you please describe also the dark side of this artificial intelligence? And we learned that one of the person you mentioned, and also some scientists really warn us about the possibility of the danger of this new technology. So what is your thought about that?
I mean, of course, there are many dark sides. The first one is that one or many take control of the technology and use it against all the others to be richer, more powerful. That's one possibility. The second dark side is the famous singularity, which is in my book, which is what will happen when the machine is conscious. By the way, it's very interesting, because when I was traveling the world and meeting all these scientists, the top 20 in the world and entrepreneurs who had been at that time raising $150 million when AI was not famous, from Li Ka-shing and others, they told me, when you look at machine, you have to think like machine. So if you're a machine, think in this room, if you're a machine and you become conscious, what do you want to do? Only two things. You want to preserve your life, I mean, whatever you call life, and you want to reproduce yourself, to transmit your life. This is the only two things the machine will do. Humans, we do it in our own way because we are flesh. So think about how to protect a machine. A machine protects itself with electricity. So machine needs to make sure electricity is abundant. By the way, we're doing a good job because we are shifting the world to electricity to prepare for the world of machine. They need electricity. They're not going to manage oil and power plants with coal. Huh? They're just going to manage electricity produced from solar and things like this. First, to protect yourself as a machine because you are made of metals or steel, you need to avoid corrosion and flooding. So you need to make the environment better. This is what I wrote in my book. Machine will make our world better against our own will. Even if we don't want the environment to be better, machine will have an interest because if they get flooded, they're dead. If they get acid, they're dead. If they get a lot of things that we accept to live in, they are dead. The first thing. And then, of course, they have to reproduce themselves. To reach singularity, you need 3 points, 3 elements. And we're only working on one these days. You need machine learning, you need machine reasoning, and you need genetic algorithm, which means that the machine programs itself. Today, all the people we are talking about, all these famous players, they're only working on number one. They're working on machine learning to maximize their profit. Of course, they do a bit of research. But think about it. Today, why are these players I mentioned so powerful? Because they have the data, they have the money, they have the processing power, they have the algorithm, and with this, they're just printing money. So in the next 3, 4, 5 years, they will be driven by stock markets, printing and printing more money. But they will not work really on machine reasoning, even though we saw the Google stuff yesterday. The machine reasoning is beyond this, and they're not working at all on genetic algorithm. So the second risk is the singularity. The third risk is linked to work. If we don't work on education, if we don't work on changing jobs, if you don't work as entrepreneur or as business people in introducing AI in your companies, then we will not be able to do a smooth transition. By the way, we all talk about, augmented humans, but a human brain takes between 15 and 25 years to be built for all your neurons to connect. By the way, whether you like this meeting or not, your brain will have changed when you leave this room. This is physically proven. Because some neurons will have connected, good or bad, but your brain, I would have altered your brain forever, okay? That's what's happening with things. So we have to work on education because we cannot just say people will just have machine, they don't have to learn history, they don't have to wire their brain. Because a brain which has not been trained to learn, to write, and by the way, there are some studies on the fact that if you stop writing, if you're only using your phone, you're losing 6 or 7 capabilities. Huh? And your ability to read, to learn, to think is reduced. So I think we have a lot of risk, as I said, singularity, human role, and a few humans taking control.
I think you mentioned several aspects are very important risks for our modern society in the coming years. And I'd like to come back to the first one because we all know that in the history that the human being doesn't evolve that quickly, so which means we should expect some crazy people that we had in the history coming back with a much bigger and a powerful, we call it the arm, right? So what kind of mechanism we need to put on to prevent that some people using these technology in an evil way? So what is your suggestion on that?
We have one challenge with AI, which is it's also, and I didn't mention it because it's not the topic of my speech, it's also a military weapon. In 2004, the US Army introduced a 5th military space. Napoleon was fighting only on 2 dimensions, land and sea. Then World War I, we introduced air. Then we introduced space for the Cold War. Then we introduced cyberspace. So now AI is a cyber weapon, one of the most powerful. It can block a country. So we have one topic which is some state, rogue state or regular state will work on this. But back to your point, the same way we regulated nuclear weapons and nuclear armaments, it is very likely, this is what I write in the book, that within the next 20 years, there will be some official organization to monitor and track, because otherwise the risk is there.
And the second one, besides the one you mentioned about the AI, the machines themselves, on this side I'm pretty optimistic, because, and the third one is more about the social impact. So you talk about the education, and also there's another social impact is what we call now the social engagement or the social involvement of our human being. Because the last sentence is talking about unemployment and let's play. So what will be the change of our human relationship and this social impact on our human evolution or development? So what is your view on that?
It's a good topic because we discussed it last year in the China Development Forum with some the Dean of Yale and some other people. The first thing is everyone in this room wants to have a meaning of his life. You know, you need to have something where you feel fulfilled. So if you don't work, if you don't do anything, it's a bit of a challenge for the society. What is very likely is, and I think Arthur C. Clarke, and many of the sci-fi authors are right. Arthur C. Clarke, when he said we all play, is because I think we have primary, secondary, tertiary, but I think we enter a world of quaternary, where people have more like leisure activities. They play games, they do some activity with others. The challenge we will have is how we pay these people. So there's a debate in the US which is negative tax. So people pay tax and some others get negative tax. In Europe, we are talking about the universal revenues, which, by the way, even the CEO of Siemens mentioned last year. So the society will have to evolve because the relationship to work will be different, the type of work will be different, and the way we compensate will be different.
But still, there's one piece of the social life missing, because if we look back to our normal, we call the ordinary social life, we are find the actions or missions to fuel our life. This is on one side. And the human beings, they like, although they are always claim about the social equality, but actually they like to be ranked. So in the new world, how we can still let people feel different or they are better than others, to give them this kind of self-proud.
I think, as I said, if we all have a portable AI, it has one advantage: it removes the digital divide. Because today the digital divide is between people who understand and people who don't understand, including in this room. And that's why people are talking about coding and programming, which I don't believe is the topic, because once you have portable AI, you don't need coding and programming. I mean, some people can continue to code and program. What will happen is the difference will be, then you can start ranking, because people, you can use your creativity. You can use your human sense. You can use all kind of human skills combined with the machine in an augmented way. That's why I call it HAI, not hyper artificial intelligence, but human augmented intelligence. And then we can have a world where people work differently, interact differently, do business, but having all access to this kind of portable AI.
But before we move to the business side, but still I have one more question about the ethical problem, because when you were speaking, I think you said one sentence that this portable AI will be provided for free to more or less to everybody. But you said at the end, you said with different level of service. You said that. But are we entering another world with social discrimination or anything, because the big ones or the rich ones can still pay a better portable AI, so which will give them a competitive advantage over others? So what is your opinion on that?
I mean, it's possible, because when we got the first mobile phone, some people had phones that can work all over the world, some had phones that can work in a region. So it's very likely that there will be different levels, and that will be a form of discrimination, but the level playing field will be much higher. So I think the gap will be much lower than it is today between the rich and the poor.
Yeah, but given the power of this machine, so where we create an even bigger social class and also the stagnation of the social class, because the people who get a more powerful AI can search quickly and find the best deals and the best opportunities in the world. Because as you described, the portable AI is so powerful, so that's quite scary, right?
It is a possibility. I'm expecting government to regulate a bit this and to make sure that there's a minimum requirement so that people can compete. But in every technology, some people fly with a private jet, some fly for a regular jet. Some people cannot afford the flight. So we cannot make it abundant to everyone. My belief is it will just change the game, the winners, and it will give opportunity to everyone in this room that you don't have today.
So enough for the social side. Now let's move to the business, because we're in a business school. So the first question is about your waves of disruptions. So we all heard the message, so please quit from Alibaba, then never look for a job in Alibaba for many of our MBA students. Even recently asking me to link them to Hangzhou or something, so we should avoid that now. So in which circumstances, who will provide this portable AI? So what will be the business model behind this portable AI? If you can make some comparison to the history, as you said, history can always tell us the future.
Okay, it's very simple. If you look at the 4 waves, we move from centralized to decentralized to centralized to decentralized. So we are just entering the wave of decentralized. So you think about the 4 waves and you will see that today everything is centralized and tomorrow things will be decentralized. The second thing is we had a wave of hardware, software, hardware, software. So we are in the wave of software, we're going to go back to hardware, a form of hardware. The people who will provide this, I know some of them, they're working on it. The next Google is not a name that we know in this room. Otherwise, it will not be the next Google. They will provide a portable AI for sure, which is, as I said, secured with your personal cloud and for a monthly fee. So which is different model than the model today, which is free. But why you pay a monthly fee? To be safe. Because if it's free, it means you're the product. So they will provide this for a monthly fee. There will be add-on of intelligence to manage your shopping. Maybe there's some basic stuff, but you can add shopping, managing your financial life. I mean, a lot of things we do very badly, where if you had a portable AI, in my another speech, I am using a Jiminy Cricket from Pinocchio, with whispering at Pinocchio, or I'm using Joy from the last Blade Runner. So basically, we all need, at the moment of our life, whether it's personal life, professional life, education, money, we would be very happy to have someone neutral who tells us analytically what should be the decision we should make, and then we can decide to make an irrational decision, but at least we know the rational decision. And today, most of us are making rational or irrational decisions sometimes without knowing. So this is the business model. But you see, this is disrupting completely everyone else because you're just turning the table around, and you are retaking control on the way you shop, the way you live, the way you travel.
So basically, if we move back to many of the lessons we heard even in the business schools, talking about squeezing the money out of the pig, something like this, right? You all heard of that. But in our case, the new case, since the portable AI will be 100% protected, so which means the producer or the provider of this device or this service, it can be, I think it will be a mixture of hardware and software, more software than hardware. But then once you get that, you will get the total closure, which means the provider shouldn't earn any money out of it because they won't be able to crack your privacy and sell it for the advertisement. Do you confirm that?
Yes.
So which means that we move back to an older world that the people will provide by piece this software or hardware and sell it to you, so it will be a one-time deal.
No, because you have monthly fees, you have upgrades, you can do research and improve it. The same way we had with the phones in the 90s.
Yeah. So then they can get some subscriptions and they sell the product to you one time.
They sell the hardware maybe one time, they upgrade, and they have monthly fees.
Yeah.
And then you have apps that you can download. You can see a lot of things happening. You can even help you to monetize your intelligence and explain you how to do peer-to-peer, how to bargain with other people together to buy something in one street. Yeah, I mean, I've already done some thinking. There's a lot of application. Once you open this door, there's a lot of application. The problem is for the other people that were living from search, advertising, platform, because they have no grip on you anymore.
So how about the intermediary? There will no more intermediary in your future?
It depends what we call intermediate, but first, all the producers will be able to interact with you directly. So you will be able to interact directly with the company or the brands without intermediate, for sure. You still need to go to physical places to buy, somehow. So it's just we reshuffle the game. And the people I was mentioning, which are surrounded today and feel like they're dying, even though they have been there for 200 years, they have excellence, they have IP, but they feel squeezed, they will have an opportunity to come back.
So basically the takeaways, so I will try to summarize, this is my job as a professor, is that we are moving back to the older world. If you want to survive, either you will become this portable device provider, so then of course you will compete against others who can provide the best service. So this is one way. The other way is that you just go back to a traditional business to provide the right product or service. Since now the AI, the portable AI will be so efficient to source for their master around the world. So basically, if you make a good product or service, then you can be easily get access from all over the world without any intermediary, of course. Or the second place you can be is to be the logistic person. 快递员.
Yes, logistics is good.
Yeah.
There's a third business,
Okay, please.
which is to provide to the users of this portable AI smart way of combining their portable AIs.
So then you can also sell some add-ons to the device to strengthen its power, basically. So now you see a different business, right? So maybe we can open now to the room for any questions, because Charles-Edouard describes a very amazing, right, different world that, and my strategy professor Daniel is here. I think now he's teaching the wrong tips to our student, right?
Now he's teaching the tips of today.
Yeah, okay, good. Now he would teach
Not of tomorrow.
Yeah, please, yeah, lady first.
那个博弈先生是这样子哈，您非常
Sorry, so one second. 等1分钟，给他一个耳机，有个耳机，这样的话他可以听一下。好，抱歉。说尽管他在这儿中国待了那么多年，还不会讲中文，这很丢人的事情。他需要一个 AI 帮他翻译。
Make sure I understand the question, okay? Be nice to me, okay?
Yeah, I said you need a portable AI, definitely on this side. Yeah.
鲍宇先生，我注意到您的简历介绍当中，您擅长2个点。一个点呢是您的人工智能的研究，还有您还有个癖好，就是您喜欢投资高端餐饮。那您可不可以带我们想象一个场景，就是说未来人工智能对于高端餐饮就是人工智能在高端餐饮当中的运用？因为我是一个餐饮学校的校长，所以很想听一下，谢谢。
So you received the translation?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The second.
I'm not investing in restaurant, but that's okay.
Wait, okay.
Now it can be applied in many ways. It can be applied for the quality of the meals. It can be applied for the customers to tell in advance what they want. I mean, you can see a lot of possibilities in the restaurant business. I mean, we still have the need for empathy. You still need to have interaction with someone, which I believe, one of the things I believe, and this is why I like this fourth wave, is people think this fourth wave is all about machines. For me, this fourth wave is all about humans. Because today we live in a world where I mean, I don't want to have a remote control of my life. I want to control my life. I want to have real friends. And a lot of things we have been caught in because we are sticking to this machine. If you had a portable AI that checks your WeChat and tells you what's important based on your preferences, if it's your girlfriend, if it's a friend, if it's your mom, and you want to hear, then but today you just see the thing popping in and you have a look, or you look at the moment. So I think if you think about what the portable AI can bring you to your personal life, giving you more human time, this is what I see. In the restaurant business, I think there will be more people in restaurants, more people interacting. You know, the world is, what I've seen in the 25 years of consulting is things go like this. So we live in a virtual world now. VR was a big thing 3 years ago. It's fading to more like a combined virtual and real. And I think that at the end of the day, you know, some people wrote 20 years, 50 years ago, that we are animals that like to be together. We don't like to be in different rooms with a machine between us. Huh?
But even for 对于你这个餐饮业，其实这个可以充分发挥这个想象力，因为现在餐饮业对于这个客户的这种需求的满足，相对来说还是一种比较标准化的流程。因为这里一个很大的问题是，因为有很多对客户的真正需求的了解，它的这个沟通成本是非常高的，而且这种描述本身是非常主观的。那么所以这就还有个备货的整个供应链又是比较复杂的，就会造成实际上就算到最高端的餐饮我们去体验的时候，其实还是带着一个巨大的我们叫做信息不对称性。就很多的这个餐饮的这个经历的完成当中，其实有很多的这个不确定性。那么如果以后是一个你的 portable AI 和餐饮公司的 portable AI 可以非常反复沟通的，在不需要有这个沟通成本，除了他说的耗一点电以外，在这种情况下的话，就是你的这个餐饮的整个这个体验，从你进这个门的你这个 dining room 的这个装饰，一直到最后上的菜的这个口感、口味、成色等等方面，都可以做到更大的一个个性化，因为这个餐饮公司能够充分了解，而且有足够的时间去做整个这个供应链的调整。这是我的个人观，不知道他同不同意，我不知道。
Maybe to add on this, today when the restaurants are squeezed also by platforms that decide which restaurants are rated, in a real world where the consumers have their portable AI, portable AI will know your taste if you were happy because he will ask, and then it's much easier for you to check the quality of a restaurant. Today you look at the like. Sometimes you travel the world and you have like 20 likes. You go to the restaurant, it's bad. Because a like means nothing, it's just someone clicked. A portable AI will say, preference something is this and this, he liked this restaurant. So you can just check all the portable AI that went to the restaurant, if they're allowed to be checked, and they will give you a true information. Same for drivers. If you were in the car, you can track the speedometer. You can track if we're on time.
You know, it's a very updated topic these days because there was a big tragedy in Henan happened. So I think driver is definitely a very important background check is very, very important.
Check the drivers.
Question. 还有什么问题没有？第二个问题，这边中间穿绿色衬衣的男士。
两位教授好，我是李军，我来自于孕未来，怀孕的孕未来，我们是用互联网在做妇产科的一些服务，所以就是刚才的演讲当中呢，就是我想请问一下，对于医疗行业的一些在 AI 方面的应用，尤其是在妇产科和这个辅助生殖 IVF 的这个领域当中的一些应用，谢谢。
Okay, I can start charging, I think. This is so specific that I have to charge. No, I mean, in healthcare, we bring a lot because there's a lot of health organizations and countries. I was in the Middle East last week, which are looking at how they can improve the quality of service on health. Today, the data is scattered. When you go to see a doctor, he doesn't have the record of you. Why? Because we're all afraid of scattering our data. In the world of portable AI, it's on your device, and it's carried, and your history You know, you don't remember which medicine you took last year, 5 years ago. You remember maybe a surgery, but you don't remember the doctor. So if you think about this in the world of tomorrow, you will be able to carry your data protected, and that will allow your company to be much more efficient when they interact. So I see a lot of possibilities in the world where we can control our data better.
但他刚才没跟你讲，如果这个大家都有 portable AI，portable AI 之间都可以交流，它可以在可能几秒钟之内把去过这个医院最近1年的300个病人都去查出来，最后把你这个医生做过手术的那个500个病人的这个 portable AI 都找出来了解情况的话，你现在建的这个平台就没有生意了，这个是最重要的一点。穿红衣服的，穿红衣服的。
First, thank you so much for this excellent session. And my name is Robin. I'm an incoming student for the MBA class in CEIBS. And my question is, a lot of people are saying that neural network or deep learning is more like alchemy rather than chemistry nowadays, because we don't know, we know that it's working so well, but we didn't know that why it is working so well. So because of this black box or lacking of theoretical understanding, do you think this is going to be a major challenge of the application of AI, because we didn't have this problem in the prior waves that you talked about? Thank you.
Yes. First of all, I'm not that optimistic on deep learning and machine learning, because I think this is technology of the past. I think that when I look at what people are investing, they're looking at algorithm copying the biomimetism that will allow you to track and avoid the black box effect. Today, basically, you are throwing tons of data at a machine, and he or she is learning to separate circle from square from triangle. And then if you give him something new, he will try to fit it somewhere. And then if you are trying to explain how he's been sorting this, it's very difficult, if almost impossible. So I think that this is very useful for companies that are just making money on it, which is good. It's okay for the first generation of AI, but we're going to see something coming up. I don't know if it's 1, 3, or 5 years, but within the next 7 years, there are going to be new technologies. Machine learning is so popular because, as I said, it is printing money for the incumbent. It's just printing money. So they use this technology. They don't really care how to explain how it works, because then you just sell more products, more advertising. But if you're moving to portable AI, if you're moving to healthcare, if you're moving to things that are important for people, we will have to be able to explain how the decision was made. You cannot just say it's the machine decided, because the machine didn't decide. It just was taught mathematically by the programming, the weight on the neuronal network. So I think we're going to see a big shift. But I'm not killing it now, because it's producing so much money. So until the portable AI comes, I would still work for these players. But you know, the same way that when I was at HBS, it was America Online was the winner. And nobody knows American Online, you know, Cisco, my daughter thinks it's a Pokemon. So all of these companies, you know, that we think are at the top of the world. I mean, Cisco was the largest market cap in the world in 2001. Nobody in this room knows Cisco. I mean, you know Cisco, but you don't think it's the largest market cap. So my takeaway as a consultant, and my ancestor consultant was Sun Tzu and some people like this, is that the world is changing, and everyone in this room has to read history, understand human history, understand the wave of technology, before making bold statements that the players of today are immortal. But these immortals are using this technology heavily because they have data processing power and they can print money. You just run it. But in the long run, we have to find a way to explain this. There's one company, I will be there next week, or is it this week? Tomorrow. I'm sitting on the board. I'm going to see a demo. Apparently, they're able to have something which is learning and tracing everything. So I will tell you next week.
Thanks.
好，这后面 这边举手，对。
Hi, thanks for the excellent speech. My name is Jason, and I'm a current MBA student at CEIBS. So I'm currently interning at Roland Berger. So my question
Good choice.
would be, yes, exactly.
But
for
you should not ask questions.
Yeah, that's not a question. But I'm interested to know, as a consultant, or to say in the consulting industry, how do you foresee the future of the management consultant when AI can take up most of the responsibilities, like do the desktop research? It can't even like do the interview.
That's a really easy one, okay? Because I get this every time, so it's an easy one. You know, if you had told Sun Tzu that his job will disappear, he would have said, okay, with the computers and so on. The reality is, my belief is, consultants were there 6,000 years ago, and they will be there for the next 6,000 years, okay? As long as they are humans, there are a few jobs that will be still there, okay? I'm not going to name the other ones. They are older than my job, but they are very famous as well. So what will happen is, the portable AI will come, and I will have just augmented consultant. So the way they will interact with clients will be very different. They will save a lot of time to produce slides. They will save a lot of time to look at data. They will have to think intelligently how I address the consumers, how I differentiate myself from the other competitors. Because if everybody is doing the same product, the same restaurant, there's no differentiation. So I think we will go back to the essence of Sun Tzu strategy professors, because you will remove all the analytical power that makes a difference between someone who has the data and someone who doesn't have. So I'm very optimistic. It might mean that a junior consultant earns as much as a partner, because if he's creative. But you know, when I joined consulting, I was very fast track, because in consulting, if you perform to the next level, they give you the next level. Of course, some firms are more rigid. I mean, sometimes we have to do time in grade. But I was partner at 29 because I just was able to master the thing. So I think there will be more opportunities for people who are creative. Of course, you need your brain to be formed at the CEIBS before you can go to Roland Berger, because you need to be ready for using the portable AI. So I'm very optimistic, because I think this is not going to remove the consultant. Actually, it's going to separate the bullshit consultant who do the slides from the one that see the future and help you to own the future and are creative. But the one who tell you the same bullshit is just going to be removed by the machines.
所以刚才讲的这一点其实蛮重要的，就是说未来如果整个这个沟通成本，其实他讲的很重要的一点，就沟通成本和很多机械的东西都被拿掉的情况下，比如说刚才回到这个咨询行业的话，其实一个老咨询师有很多手上有很多客户。关系已经不重要，因为这个客户关系已经不值钱了，因为客户每秒钟都在重新审视你的这个创造力，所以最终就是回到了这个创造力。那么也就是说，很多情况下，各个行业，不管你是做餐饮服务、这个咨询服务，还是我们做产品的，最后就是回到我们的产品服务的本身的这个核心上来。所以这也是我今天我个人认为听到的一个最有价值的。这个未来的一个，我认为这个未来是变得越来越好，就是我们大家都是专注做核心的自己主营业务就好了。那刚才他讲的，你们也可以看到，Charles-Edouard对我们中欧，非常的这个情有独钟。其实，我能说服他做我们的国际咨询委员会的委员的一个主要原因，因为也是这几年他是我们 MBA 的这个罗兰贝格是我们 MBA 主要的这个招聘。公司之一是在数一数二的公司，所以他也看到我们学生的优秀，才今天愿意花这个时间来跟大家做交流的。顺便插播一个广告，谢谢。还有这位女士，中间的这位女士，麻烦你们话筒拿一下。
Hi, Mr. Bouée. My name is Ching from Morning Region Venture Capital. I see you have a lot of investment experience. Could you share some of your investment strategies and how you make decisions with us? Thanks.
Sorry, what was the last part?
Investment strategies and how you make investment decisions.
To 500 people. My investment strategy is, first, I believe in one industry, one topic that will change things dramatically. And I believe AI is one. Then, in the world of AI, because there's so much bullshit, I first look at technology. Normally, for normal investment, you first look at people. Because if you have a good team, they can modify the business model, they can go through the thing. But when it comes to AI, there's so much bullshit that I look at technology first, and to make sure that is it the plain vanilla technology, or is it something different? Then I look at people, and then I look at business model. This is the three things I look at in this order, because I don't want to waste my time if someone has just painted a big data company into an AI company. I mean, you don't meet many big data company anymore. You meet a lot of AI company. So I'm really focusing on removing the crap from the technology part.
这边，后面这边一位穿白衣服的男士。
Hello everyone, my name is Juan Carlos Zabada. I graduated from CEIBS in 2015, class again by 2013. I'm in a process of opening my own high-tech consulting company here in China. I have a very specific question for Mr. Bouée regarding chatbots. Chatbots present and future, I mean regarding technology and also regarding market penetration capability. Are we already in the point where we can totally automatize a call center? I mean substitute a call center with chatbots?
We work a lot for call centers. I can tell you this is not yet the moment. There are two problems with the chatbots as we speak. The first one is that the company which enter the market with good technologies, they have been pricing their product too low, and therefore they have problems to scale and make money, which is kind of stupid, but this is what's happening. And therefore, when you compare to the margin of the people who have the call centers, they cannot scale up. And I know one or two in China that are really huge, and they're managing 350 million people real time, but the revenue is like this. Because they've been selling the substitution on the number of people. Second, what we see is you can automate, you can put RPA, you can pull, but humans want to interact with someone. And what is important in a relationship, and this is something I learned at Harvard Business School, is your best client are the clients in our industry or any industry who had problems with you. I mean, you can be happy with the service. And this is when you have a problem with a company that you need this to be solved. And if it's all machine, back to the point of traceability, you will not get this spark of a crazy idea from the manager, from the on the ground floor or at the headquarters to really recover the client. So what we see now with the call center is they're trying to have different level of services. They have a special department to handle when the call goes bad, because this is when you can really create a very big relationship for the client. And this is when your client, as a call center, will be super happy that he didn't lose his client because they become super clients. So I think there's a bit of time before the machine comes too much in the call centers.
好，这边还有位是对。
Good evening, Mr. Bouée. So my name is Yun, and I work for the strategy department of Siemens Healthineers. So I got a question for you. So imagine if you were the CEO of a traditional healthcare equipment manufacturing company like Siemens, what will be the top 3 most important things you will do to embrace AI?
Wow. First, I will ask Roland Berger to come for a workshop.
Free consulting?
No, the first workshop is free. You know, it's like a freemium. We are learning from the current winners. No, more seriously, I think there are 3 things that people need to do. First thing is they need to have the courage to protect themselves in a longer time horizon. This is why I'm pushing this portable AI, not because it's tomorrow, but because it opens the thinking that you are not surrounded by people that will kill you, and that they might die, and therefore you might have the opportunity to change the game. That's the first thing. The second thing is you need to think about what could be the quick wins. What can be the thing you can already implement, because you know it's going to have the portable AI tomorrow. What are the things you can already implement to show to your employees that it's moving? This is what we have, we call it Terra Numerata, where we have a platform of partners we bring and we co-construct with the client. And the last but not least, I will still do my strategy, because as the dean said, you have to still produce good product for the clients, because in the world of tomorrow, it will become even more important than being referenced in this or this distributor because people will be able to go to the right product.
好，这边我们有位女士举手。
Good evening, Mr. Bouée. My name is Tina Qian, and I'm the upcoming student for the MBA 2020. And I am running my own small business now. So my question is, because in the future that you say the humans purchase decision is actually made by the portable AI. So the portable AI will make a decision based on our own preference. So is that means that we can only buy something that we already have bought? Is there a little market for the new brand or the small business? Because the market will become a monopolic market.
No, actually to the reverse. Today, people buy what other friends like on Facebook or on Taobao because they think it's cool, and they keep buying the same stuff. And the machine is telling you when you go to Amazon, buy this and this because, people who like this book, and this book. I mean, I hate this. I don't want to buy the book that people, because I bought this book, I don't want to buy the other books. So what it will change is if you have a true portable AI, you will be able to bypass the preference. You will be able to be presented new things. So if you just say, I want to have serendipity, I want to see more things, the machine will open you. Today, there is no serendipity when you do a Google search or you do any search. They are bringing you to where they want you to be. And then who of you is going to the second page of the search? Nobody. So to the contrary, I think it will open much more opportunities. Of course, for people who are very traditional and they want to wear the same suit, drink the same water and the same food every night, you have no opportunity for you. But there are plenty of people who are willing to experience new things. The problem is most of these people are under the monopoly of the big platform, and you have to pay as a new player, and say, you're a small cookie, you cannot pay, so I keep providing the other products. So today, I think it's a world which is becoming less exciting because we don't choose anymore. Tomorrow, you will be able to choose again.
Okay, thank you for the answer.
这边后面那位女士刚才举手，还有一个问题是吧？那我们今天这个最后一个问题，然后后面我们还有一个仪式要做，谢谢。
Hi, thank you for the amazing lecture. I'm from a trading company from Hong Kong. I have two questions. First is regarding your speech of how our brain will alternate forever after this lecture. How would that work? Is it because if we interact with new experience, that's how it works, or there's actually some structural change? Second is because we're a trading company that's very traditional, are there any practical ways that we can do to venture into this AI opportunities?
Okay.
Thank you.
The first one is very simple. Your brain is made of neurons. And the same way that on the deep learning, they are connected to each other. Every experience you're making, smelling, thinking, talking, and it doesn't have to be with me, it can be anytime. Every minute, your brain is being changed. So it's an organic phenomenon that your brain is changing every minute. And that's why it's also very important to choose the right school, the right places to go, because this is how your brain is being made. Of course, as you get older, then some of the neurons disappear, some of the connection this is where you lose memory. So that's why I said this is the truth. Any encounter of any humans, anything you're learning, reading, doing, will change your brain forever. So this is just organic mechanics. On your second question, I will suggest a workshop with a consulting firm from Europe, if possible. I bring the dean to think with us. No, more seriously, trading, it depends. You didn't say what type of, you're trading goods, physical goods?
Very traditional textile, kind of so it's completely separate. So.
I think you can start to apply deep learning, some simple things to look at patterns, to look at your making decisions. There's a very interesting company from the US called Mondo Brand. They work for the FBI, CIA. They work for big companies as well. They help a decision maker to make decisions. So basically, today a lot of algorithm and companies, they just provide you a black box and help you and makes a decision for you. What this company is doing is you're making the decision, and we work with them to parameter. You're making the decision the same way you were making the decision before, with 20 parameters. You decide this, and this, how you want to position it for one decision, for one trading, for one product. And then you click, and then the machine will search in your database and tell you that maybe you should move this parameter, and this parameter. So this is a good interaction between human and machine. So for traditional companies, I recommend they work like this, because if you come with an expert system that decides everything for you, most of the management will say, we've been doing this for 50 years, 80 years. Why would the machine be better than us? And they're going to take our job. In this case, you have the combination. So I will start with something very simple.